The popularity of the card game continues to surge past all of our wild imaginations. Logan Paul is now into the One Piece TCG, and EB-03 is looking a little doomed. Welcome back to Bud's Watch, where we take a look at all things One Piece TCG, but more of an emphasis on the collecting side of things. Last week's giveaway winner for the Mr. One and the Perona promo from the illustration box is Electrified Biker 5280. Congratulations. Reach out to us on either Instagram, TikTok, or our Discord server, and we'll get that sent out to you right away. We are giving away those illustration boxes right there, though. Volume 3 and 4 at 2,000 subscribers. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe, as well as be a U.S. resident. Okay. Let's get started, everybody. We have a packed agenda today. A lot of little topics to talk about. First one being OP-14. Okay, last week, I guess we didn't really realize how controversial it would be, but we did get a couple of some comments that weren't very nice about the predictions that we did make on OP-14, which is okay. We are in a pretty crazy market right now, and I can understand emotions are pretty high. But we did make some predictions that not everybody liked or they didn't agree with. We now know what happened. And to be honest, we were pretty spot on. So we talked about, let's go through these kind of one by one on what we predicted and what actually happened, where we were right. There was a couple misses as well, so we'll talk about that. First off, let's talk about the booster box price. OP-14, $270 a box right now. Before we go to Nick, I said last week that there was a lot of doomsday people saying that this box was going to nuke to 180, 170, and Nick and I said that we did not agree. People were also upset that they saw booster boxes for 220, 200, and we said that that's probably going to be the best you get for a while until Bandai meaningfully reprints things. So I know people don't like to hear that, but this is the market that we're in, everybody. This is the market that we're in. So, anyways, $270 a box, Nick. With the nail on the nose on that one, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the box so far?
I think the price is completely justifiable. I know I mentioned last week, which, as Dom mentioned, was a little bit of a controversy telling people that I thought $279, which was the pre-release price in the box, was a number that I didn't hate. I thought it was an okay number to buy at. As you mentioned, we're starting to see now, getting a clearer picture that this box price probably isn't going anywhere at that 270 mark besides upwards as more of this print starts to dry out. One thing I really wanted to do that I didn't do last week was flesh out the reasoning and the explanation for the 279 box pricing, as in why I thought that was an okay price to purchase at, as well as to reiterate some stuff that you and I have been talking about for months now, that I forget that we often have a lot of new viewers and people constantly tuning into the show who are just new to collecting, new to One Piece, and they have a lot of questions, or they're not used to this current market environment. So, firstly, as always, guys, and we've been stating this for months, this is common sense from a collector perspective, any perspective, whether you're a Poke Bro and you're watching this, or you're an investor bro, or you're just a genuine collector, you should always try to get booster boxes for MSRP. That should be your number one priority. Whenever a new set comes out, regardless of what TCG player says, regardless of what the marketing conditions look like, you should always look to get boxes at MSRP. As I'm sure you have seen from this set, as well as what it's looking like for the Heroine set, which we're going to get to at a later point in this video, finding boxes at MSRP is becoming much more difficult. And another thing we're going to touch base on this video is the boxes that were released by Bandai at MSRP were almost unacquirable for the average person unless you planned on camping. So MSRP for One Piece right now, very, very difficult. So the next thing you have to look at is, okay, MSRP is very tough. What are my alternatives? And your alternatives, which is going to have to come through some work, is to look to your local game stores. Of course, this is why it's so important to get out there in the community, get out to your local game stores, start playing the game regularly, because you get perks that you wouldn't often get if you were not a regular at your game store or a player of the game. A great example of this is what Dom and I experienced at our local game store, where we got boxes for MSRP because we play at local. So for the local players, our local game store offered 2 boxes to each one of the players who consistently showed up. Dom and I play twice a week. We just played yesterday in the first official running of the OP14 meta, which was a little bit spicy, I will not lie. And therefore, that granted us accessibility to product we otherwise would not have from that shop. So again, guys, there is product available out there for MSRP or slightly more, but you really need to get out there to your local game stores and be an active person there, be an active person in your community. We've always promoted, you want to be a leader in this community. There's a lot of hostility. There's a lot of resentment amongst the players and the collectors. Try to be that mediator if you're a collector between the both, and just get out there and be a positive person and someone that other people are going to want to follow. Okay, so we discussed MSRP, and we discussed slightly over MSRP. So now let's talk about these $200, $220 box pricing. And this is where a lot of people are getting flustered because they're like, my local game store never charged me more than MSRP for a booster box of One Piece, and now they're over here looking for $220 a box. And the sad reality is, though, guys, when you look at the market, you're still getting a $50 discount to where the box pricing is at. And I know that doesn't feel good, but if Pokemon is any indicator, this is likely going to be the future of the card game moving forward, where the pre-release pricing, I agree. Pre-release pricing typically goes down, but we're not going to see those dramatic drops that we once did. And I think OP13 was the indicator for that. OP13 came out. I was there with everybody saying OP13 is going to drop once that second reprint hits. You're going to see it drop down to around 120, 130 a box, which is the same trajectory that OP09 followed. However, that wasn't the case, guys. We saw OP13 drop $10, and I'll never forget, I walked over to Dom, and I'm like, you see OP13 drop? And he was like, yeah, by $10. And I was like, don't worry, the reprint's going to come. The reprint never came. We're still waiting for the reprint. Bandai, where's it at? Okay, so sad reality is that if OP13 and now OP14, all we can do as collectors is analyze what these two sets are telling us. And what they're telling us is that this current market is eating up all this product. These $200 to $220 box prices, while it's more than it used to be, again, when you look at how hype One Piece is, the sad reality is this is just what the normal might be. And the one thing I want to add on top of this is that I know a lot of game stores are getting flack for these increased box prices. And what I will say is some stores absolutely deserve it because they are people who just want to scalp their own community, which is terrible. However, for those out there who are charging $200 to $220 a box, it's hard to make that connection of being in that scalper mindset as a game store only because there is a huge, and I mean a huge amount of product that is being imported in from Europe of One Piece right now into the United States marketplace because of how high demand is. And of course, with tariffs and a lot of these European stores who have distribution access are requiring full buyouts of their entire capital, whatever they're getting from Bandai up front. So you're looking at, in some situations, from what I've been told, around $100,000 worth of upfront liquidity coming from these game stores to be able to import this product from Europe. I know Straw Hat Speculator mentioned that he's actually been looking to Europe to try to get some additional sealed product that he hasn't been able to find locally in the United States. A lot of people are importing boxes from Europe, and
I think he's from Canada.
Okay, so he's been importing though in from Europe into Canada. But the point I'm trying to make here is that there is so much demand for One Piece right now that all this product is being imported in from Europe, and it's still not enough to satiate the box price market. With that being said, I don't know. I think we're in for a tough one, especially with the next set in particular.
This is the normal until Bandai does something. And I'm not going to go into preaching about that like we do in every episode seemingly, but this is the normal until Bandai decides to print more. That is the only thing that will change any of this. We have to see. We have to see it. There's just too much demand for this product right now. There are too many people wanting a booster box of One Piece right now. The popularity is genuinely through the charts. We'll show some videos and we'll talk about that upcoming, but it's just through the roof right now. You got something to say?
One more thing I wanted to add before we jump into the next section discussing the singles about box pricing is that $279 price. One thing that always helped me in Pokemon and being able to gauge what I thought was a fair price for a set was to connect it to a previous set in Pokemon. I know for One Piece, the card game is so brand new that this feels weird. It feels very weird to be like, well, there's only sets that are a year old, 2 years old. Why should I try to connect it to that? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, though, this product is so scarce that you really don't have an alternative but to try to pinpoint. If you want to try to predict where you think a set is going to go, the best way to do so is to make a correlation to another set and determine, do I think this set is better than X, Y, and Z set? So, for example, what Dom and I did for OP14 was we both agreed that we thought this set was better than OP06. OP06 was in the top of the B+ tier. So I would put OP14 right in that edge in between B+, A- tier. So in between OP06 and OP11 box. That's where I would put it in terms of how hype I think the set is, how cool it is. I'd put it right in there. Okay, so when you do that, you come to a conclusion that if OP06 is $306 a box and OP11 is around $450 a box, it's probably long-term going to end up somewhere in the middle. So with that being said, of course, we just hit release a couple days ago on Friday. The box is at $270. Is it really that bad to buy a box at $270? If you're holding it for the long term, I genuinely do not think so, because again, when you compare it to that tier list, it's going to fall in there. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Nick, OP06 is completely it should be out of print. Came out a year and a half ago. Completely understand that. And as a result of that, OP06 is going to get a little bit of a premium unless Bandai reprints that. However, OP11 is still up in the air. Yeah, that's at $450 a box. That's crazy. I think the market is really just that hot, and unfortunately, it's telling you, it's yelling in your face, something that I know a lot of people don't want to accept. And again, this is a question that you need to ask yourself if you are picking up a box right now, which is, do I want to have this in my collection long term? Am I looking for something to rip right now? Because those result in different outcomes. If you're looking to have a box in your collection that you want to hold long term, it doesn't matter what price you buy the box at, because likely, so long as the card game is healthy, it's going to retain value and go up more over time as it becomes more and more scarce in the marketplace. Meanwhile, if you're looking for a box just to open right now, then your objective should be to get the box for as cheap as possible. So you're going to be wanting to look at that MSRP to $200 to $220 range. And that is something that is really going to help guide you in how you should be looking to pick up boxes in this crazy market in the future.
Well said. Well said. I'm just going to say MSRP, very hard to get. But if you go play locals, you actually play the game, you can develop a relationship with your card shop, and maybe you can get it for sets going forward. But you have to put in the work. You definitely have to play the game and put in the work. If you're just a bystander, collector, you get a box every set, you're probably not going to have a good time trying to get it, to be honest. Okay. The next prediction that we made was that the Zoro and the Boa Hancock SPs would not fall, and we actually said that there was a chance that they even go up. Now, the prices, when we talked about these, Boa Hancock was sitting at about $800, and the Zoro was sitting at about $700 to $750, and it's a bold prediction. To be fair, it is a very bold prediction that we said those would not fall, especially at those prices. But when you look at how there's 9 SPs, each SP is very hard to hit, state of the market, all that stuff. I mean, we've been putting in the time, we've been putting in the work. We even did freaking reconnaissance in San Diego to see what everything was like, just to see what the market conditions really were like out there. And that's how we came to that conclusion. And we just analyzed everything, all of our knowledge. We used that and we made that determination. Anyways, Zoro selling for $850 on eBay. That's what it's at. Lowest listing on TCG Player. This is being filmed on Sunday, by the way, and releasing this in 2 days. So if it changes by then, sorry. If it goes up, there you go. And then Boa Hancock is selling we're seeing sales for $1,000. We're seeing sales for $1,000. So I don't want to use the word cope, but I'm seeing a lot of disbelief. And this is where a lot of people are having their problems, and this is where some of the comments came in. For us in particular, is that we were saying that these cards were not going to fall, and how it wasn't looking good, and these cards were going to fall 100%. We're seeing Reddit up in arms. Boa Hancock calling people who are buying this card dumb for buying a card at $1,000 and all that stuff. You're seeing anger, disbelief for these cards being at the price that they're at, and people are saying there's market manipulation and all that stuff. Guys, I don't see it. I just don't see it. These are popular characters, man. If there was market manipulation, we would see it for like every card, I feel like. But we're seeing. I'm a Zoro collector, and I knew I had to get that card. So I was lickety split. I was trying to get that card, and I'm sure there are a ton of people who think the exact same way, trying to get the Boa card, trying to get the Zoro card because they're a Boa collector or a Zoro collector. So I'm not surprised that we got that one right. It just is what it is. Those are two of the most popular characters in the market. That's crazy, and there's 50% more SPs than usual because it has half of another set in it. But Nick, any thoughts on those SPs? You shocked at all that we were right on that one? That was bold.
I'm not really shocked at all about that one. I mentioned in the last video that I picked up the Boa during pre-release for $650. Very thankful that I was able to do that. I know people in the comments probably don't want to hear that, and there's some people in the community who think I might be a fool for doing that. But the sad reality is, guys, with how scarce this product is, with how hard these hit rates are on these SPs, if you don't pick up that card, if I don't pick up that card in the situation, the next person will. And that's just the way it works. And I'm not saying that to promote you giving into your FOMO and have a emotional mentality of I need to pick up this card right now. But with how hot the market is, we are seeing that, and a lot of people are negotiating that way. I know the person who was negotiating with the Boa, he was more than happy to walk away over a Miss All Sunday that he said he would not go under $100 comp on, which we're already seeing that is going down. So I ended up being correct about that one. I was incorrect about the Weevil I picked up. I definitely paid a premium on that. But that's the risk that you're playing in the current market. Am I shocked? Absolutely not. Do I think this is an indicator as to what we can expect moving forward? For the very popular characters with fantastic art, like what we're going to see in EB-03, I do think we're going to be seeing some pretty high premiums for these SPs because of how scarce the product is, how high demand is, and how hard the hit rates are on these cards. So,
and I do want to say, I don't think it's healthy for things to be at this price, like the booster box price at $270. These cards being $800, over $1,000 on release. Probably, not even probably, very likely not healthy. We do need to see Bandai actually print more, ramp up those print runs. So we're not saying that this is some healthy thing or anything like that. But we're just saying in these market conditions, if you're expecting any differently, I don't know.
And the one thing I want to add to that is the thing that told me that we were going to see some problems with the Boa and the Zoro in particular was the amount of transactions that was happening in the pre-release market on eBay and TCG Player for these cards, which is something we've never seen for One Piece. And I might even go as far as to say we've barely seen for Pokemon. Of course, there are people who do end up paying the pre-release pricing for some of those top hit SIRs, but when you think about it from a product perspective, Pokemon, again, they just have more ancillary products out there between their ETBs, blister packs, that One Piece doesn't have yet. They have more booster boxes that just get out there in circulation. There's more readily available product that just isn't there in One Piece. So seeing those transactions happening at those price points on those two cards in particular, there's got to be something you guys are looking at going in the future for future sets to be able to try to gauge what the market is telling you the card is worth.
And then for SPs as well, we had the biggest losers being Weevil and Sugar. We said these cards would drop anywhere from like 20 to upwards of 30, 35%. Weevil dropped a lot more.
I definitely lost on the Edward Weevil. I admit, okay. Last time I gave myself a FOMO rating of a 2 out of 10 on that. It's got to be a 7 out of 10 now, folks. It's got to be a 7 out of 10. This is why you got to hold yourself accountable, though. I gave into the FOMO when I saw the card. I paid $230 for. I'm admitting in front of you. I lost on that, but I won on the Boa. So can I be too bad?
You give and take.
You give and take, guys.
So Weevil, it's the only SP under 100, so we got that one right. Sugar, I believe, is like 120 or 130, so that one was another one of the big losers. So we did get that one right. And then we also said that all the other SPs would drop probably around 10 to 15%, and we called out Perona and Mihawk as maybe being more of the fair priced ones. We missed on a couple of those SPs, specifically the Mihawk and the Perona. Actually, the Mihawk is at like 300, so maybe not as much on the Mihawk, but the Perona, and I think one more we missed on a little bit. So we got a couple things wrong. And then the next thing we said was the manga was a fair price. And the manga was selling, we had an auction at $14.25, and we said that was pretty fair, but we could see it going down maybe like $100. And yeah, it's last sale that I saw today was $14.75, seeing some sales for $1,600. You're just probably seeing that fluctuation in pricing based off of grading capabilities and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we got that right. It was a fair price. We're seeing that. So that's another one that we got. And then the last one was alt arts. We said those would nuke. We said those were the ones that we could totally see going down anywhere from like 50 to maybe even in some cases 70%. I mean, we were seeing the Law Alt-Art leader at like 140, and now it's sitting at like 36 or something. Jinbei was up there, and now it's at like 33. One thing that I did not expect, and I'll fully call it out, I didn't expect Boa Hancock, the Alt-Art leader, to be still on 220. I know it's best deck in format right now. It's Boa Hancock. It's a pretty cool card, actually. It is a pretty cool card, but I'll be honest, I did not expect it to be above 200. I expected that to be 120. 130. So I'll fully admit that I was totally wrong on that one. And we're also seeing the Boa Hancock alt-art, just the regular alt-art, we're seeing that stabilize. And I guess, Nick pondered the question, well, how are we going, what are we going to see for the popular character alt-arts in this market environment? And we're seeing them retain some value, which is honestly pretty surprising to me. But Nick, any thoughts on the manga, on the alt-arts before we kind of wrap it up on OP14?
This has really reaffirmed a ideology that Dom and I really want to get printed on a t-shirt at this point, which is you always need to look at the character to determine what the popularity of the card is going to be looking like. And now more than ever, we are getting an affirmation of that. The more popular the character was always the way that you were able to gauge how much a card's possibilities were able to grow. And when you look at the SPs and the alt-arts, you're seeing that there is a very large premium out there for the characters in particular that people like from the anime, from the manga, and they want to collect. The Boa alt-art leader, what I will say about that one is, Dom and I have also mentioned the importance of the meta impact in the marketplace, and that card is a little bit of a problem when you look at the fact that it's Boa, a very popular character. Honestly, the art on it I think is pretty good. For an alt-art leader, alt-art leaders, you typically can't do any crazy art on there.
The style they have.
It's a very cool-looking alt-art leader for Boa, which is great. But then you add in the fact that you have this influx of new collectors. You add in the fact that this is a very, very meta deck, and you're seeing a premium on it that you probably wouldn't see in other situations, making a little bit of a perfect storm in that card. So if you're looking to pick up that card, it's hard to gauge when a good time is to do so because it is so good into the format of the meta. We don't know in the future when or if she's going to be kicked out in the next couple of months. There is a possibility that it does go down as she gets cycled out of the meta in a very, very long time from now, but probably not the case. Now, talking about the SPs, though. The SPs are the clearest indicator right now of the importance of the character. As you mentioned, Weevil, the biggest loser, sitting right now around $90, a huge drop-off. But when you think about it, at the end of the day, it is an Edward Weevil SP. How many people out there genuinely care about Edward Weevil? And it's funny that I'm saying that because the art on the card is so good. It's so good. And it probably saves this card from being a $50 SP, to be honest with you, because Weevil is just that much of, and no one gives a crap about of a character. So, again, when we're looking to the future and you're trying to gauge what to expect for some of these cards, we're starting to see the character and, of course, the difficulty of pulling the card as being the main factor justifying the price of the card. Again, though, those alt-arts, that's where it's getting a little spicy. I did mention last week I was curious to see how alt-arts would hold up in the future for popular characters, especially, for example, that Miss All Sunday, which has indeed gone down. But I'm still going to hold my position that the first thing you should be looking at on that checkbox is the character in particular. If you check off that it's a popular character, the next thing you're going to look at, is it a manga, SP, or is it a limited promo card? If it's one of those three, you're going to have a lot of retained value. For the alt arts, what I will say is if you do want to pick up some of these, it's going to be a you question. Do you really like the art on the alt art? Do you just really like the character? You want to collect cards for that character in particular? If that is your position, I have no problems with you doing whatever you want. At the end of the day, you should always collect what you like. But if you are looking for cards with the longer retained value, those alt arts, they are the ones that have the most room for volatility. If a huge reprint, not even a huge reprint, if a decent size reprint were to come, the first things that would be hit are the alt arts because of how common they are to hit in comparison to the SPs and the mangas.
All right, guys. Well, what do you guys think about OP14? What do you guys think about our predictions from last week? Are you surprised that some of these things actually happened? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Okay, let's talk about EB-03. EB-03. Now, what I always say is I don't like to be a doomsday guy. I don't want to ever come out here and be like, this is doomed and this sucks, and I don't think it's helpful. Nobody wants to hear that shit. But genuinely, EB-03 is looking bad. It's looking really bad right now because extra booster sets, if you don't know, if you guys are new to the hobby, extra booster sets are printed way less than the regular set that we just saw with OP14, for example. So if OP14 we're already seeing at 270, 280, imagine a extra booster set, and not only that, imagine an extra booster set with a bunch of characters that people want, lovely ladies that people want. It's looking really bad. We're seeing sales above 500 pre-sale right now. We're seeing a lot of sales above 500 right now. I don't think it's going to be 500. I mean, I could. I mean, in this market, who knows, man? I don't, but if it came out at 500, we'd have a problem. But honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. But I hope it doesn't. So things are looking pretty bad. Things are looking pretty bad for that set. We know it's going to be limited unless Bandai just comes out and prints the hell out of that, which God, please, if you hear
Bandai,
me,
please save us.
Please, Bandai, if you're listening to this, please, please double that print run. Double it. Because that one's going to be really hard to get. It's going to be really hard to get. If people are already buying this at 500, I can't imagine what that price looks like. I don't want to give any predictions right now. I think it's too early still. I just want to let you guys know it's looking pretty bad. So if we get to that, just remember this. Remember this video. Remember when you were hearing me talk about this. Remember when you're hearing Nick talk about this, because people are buying this right now and it doesn't come out. I don't remember the exact date. I'll edit it on the screen right here.
I think February. I think late February.
It's a late February.
I think it's late February.
So we're seeing that in about a month and a half. We'll see, man. We'll see. Nick, $500 a box. You buying that?
Call me Robert Downey Jr. because I'm looking like Dr. Doom. Jokes aside, guys, it's just too early to say. Of course, a full analysis, and based off of everything Dom said, and you look at the amount of transactions in the marketplace, it is going to equal bad news. But again, I have to reiterate this, and I'm going to be very clear. Our objective as collectors, players, and even if you're a Pokebro investor, is to get the box for MSRP. Now, do I think this one has any possibility of being MSRP? Unless you get it from that Bandai store, no.
This one is so different.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But what I will say is it's too early out to say what we think a fair price is for it. We have been told allocations for this set in particular are not great. They're not great. Of course, it's an EB set, extra booster set, which have consistently had one wave print runs of not very much product. There are indeed some cards in there that are impactful for the meta as well. So this one could definitely be problematic. But again, in college, they always told me that as professors, they want to say things 3 times so it processes in people's brains. Our job is to try to get the box prices for as affordable as possible. We don't know what affordable looks like here. It might be $250. It might be $300 a box. I hate to break some hearts out there for anyone who was hoping to get this for $120 a box. It's not impossible, but
Somebody behind that screen wants to kill you right now.
someone out there is whining back. But guys, we're gonna have to monitor this one. No one is gonna have any better information though than your local game store. Those are gonna be the people who have all the answers that you might be looking for, whether good or bad. And if you think a game store is scalping you, we have always promoted that you should go to a game store that you feel like you're being treated well at. So if you're in a populated area, there's a dime a dozen LGSs out there. If you're in a much more rural area, I apologize. It is going to be a little bit tougher out there for you, but there is still hope. I'm not going to say the ship has sailed, and that said is going to be $400 to $500. It's too early to say. Let's have some positivity. Let's hope that these LGSs are going to have some affordable box pricing out there, but you should be prepared for this set in particular to not be paying $120 a box. And the sad reality is you should probably be okay with it. With where the market is currently at, if your LGS is selling the box for $200, $220, and the market on the box is $400, I'd be kissing my LGS shop owner's feet just to have an opportunity to have that in my collection long term. But that's just me. Again, I know everyone has their own opinion on that. Some people are going to be looking at me right now and be like, you're the problem. You're the reason for why the card game's going to hell. I'm just trying to help you out. At the end of the day, Dom and I, we're here because we love the card game. We love the community. We just want to give back the information that we wish that we had when we were new to collecting. And now this market has transitioned. It's done a complete 180 from where it was when we first started. And we have to accept the new reality in some ways. So,
yeah, you guys shouldn't be mad at us. If anyone's mad at us,
don't shoot the messenger. We're just trying to help.
You got to be mad at Bandai. I'm telling you, Bandai actually did have they had a form or something that you can fill out. I highly recommend going to their X profile and filling out that form and saying we do need more print waves. I did that, so.
And be respectful about it, guys. You're not going to get anywhere, and you're not going to promote anything. You're just going to make the community look bad by writing these insanely offensive and derogatory statements to them on social media. Let's be nice to each other. I know, again, it's a very emotional period of time, but us as a community, we have to be better. We have to be better.
Okay, this transitions pretty well into the next topic, which is the popularity of the game. Okay, we are seeing some crazy shit happening. I don't know if you guys have seen the videos online. We'll put something here. But the lines for OP14, the lines for official Bandai stores, I can't even believe the lines that I'm seeing. Nick and I, we went to the official opening of the Bandai store in San Diego, and we thought that line was crazy. We went at like 6:30 a.m., 6 a.m. or something like that. We got there really early, and there was a crazy line. And I remember thinking to myself, holy shit, this is crazy. We're seeing 4, 5x that, so it's pretty crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Aside from that, we're also seeing scalpers, like true, genuine, real scalpers. I know that term is thrown around a lot nowadays, but we are seeing people buy out illustration boxes now. We're seeing people buy out these booster boxes without the wrap. And they have like multiple, like 10s, 20 of boxes, and they're posting photos on the internet, on X, on Facebook. And it's just like, oh my God. Now these people are actual parasites. These guys are the actual supervillains of our community. Where they are here to buy something and immediately flip it for like 2x what it cost. And those people are actual parasites. Obviously nobody should like them. Nobody does like them. But we're seeing that for honestly what it feels like the first time. Illustration, those ones right there, those were fine. Those were totally fine. We found those at Target a couple times. But that's just the new market that we're in, where scalpers know that there's demand for this, and now they're just buying everything. Super annoying. We tried to get the illustration boxes on Target, and they sold out in literally like half a second. We couldn't get it, and it just feels like Pokemon all over again. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. What do you think about the lines? What do you think about the scalpers entering the hobby? True scalpers, like actual scalpers. What do you think?
I think the lines are a really important thing to know. And the reason why I say that is because For those in particular, Bandai already announced that they were cutting off the seals of the booster boxes. So that immediately makes it way harder to flip those boxes unless you have someone in the vicinity. And even then, I'm assuming they probably were not paying full market price for the box. I can't say anything. I wasn't there. I can't 100% confirm that's the case. But what I will tell you is you would be a huge fool, and probably in the sub 10% of people who would buy a open box of One Piece.
Hopefully you are never doing that.
Especially with the amount of dead packs, weighability of stuff nowadays. You should never, ever, ever buy a unsealed booster box. It's already, Dom and I have discussed this many times before, scary to buy any loose booster box because of how easily trackable these are in these cases. But especially any box that's been open, definitely should not be purchasing that. It's so easy to throw a bunch of dead packs in there. I know Bandai has made it so leader packs now have hits in them, but I think the amount of leader packs still remains the same, 7 liters, right? So you might have a hit in the leader pack, but again, on top of that, the hit rates remain the same, so you either get a 2 or 3 hit box. So if you get a 3 hit box, you could have 10 dead packs that someone can just put into a loose box and be like, I just got this from the Bandai store, come open it, and it has 0 hits in it. So guys, definitely be careful out there. As Dom mentioned, a lot of really bad people are getting in the community, and this really reminds me of the Opossum vid I watched a couple months ago, or around a month ago, where he was discussing the One Piece situation and blowing up, and the first thing he said was, I'm sorry for the amount of grifters, shitlords that are going to be going into your community from Pokemon, which is exactly what we're seeing, and unfortunately we're going to continue to see because of the value that these products have nowadays. Going back to the line again, I'm not going to say that everyone there was a scalper. There was probably some really genuine people there. There's a lot of clips showing people playing the card game in line. They probably just wanted to be able to get some boxes at MSRP, and that's great. But moving forward, this just indicates how hard it's going to be able to get a box at MSRP. And on top of that, if you want to add a box to your sealed collection, you can't even do that because Bandai's opening up the product, which, again, I'm completely okay with that. I'm completely okay with Bandai opening up the boxes, selling them for MSRP to people. That's fantastic. It's going to negate scalping in many regards. And again, if you're buying up open boxes of One Piece, do not do that. You're going to get screwed somehow in the long run. So let's not condone any reselling of those boxes in particular. But the reality is there was probably a lot of people in the community who just showed up. Like, these were legitimate people, if you look at the videos, who wanted to get this product, and it's shining a huge light on the growth that this card game is having, which of course is going to impact the product that is going to be available in the future. So some really big things to watch out from these videos in particular. The videos in San Diego of Matsuwa Market, which is where the Bandai store is located, was shocking. And the reason why I say that is I actually have a video on my phone, which I'm going to give Dom to put in this video, showing us waiting in line for the official Bandai release, where they had PRB01, OP05, and EX boxes available. So like there was some very lucrative product available at that opening. So there was it resulted in there being a big line, and this line for OP14 literally wrapped around the entire mall.
Crazy.
Which it was not like that for when we went. Don't get me wrong, it was a very big line when we went there, but this line, as Dom said, 2 to 3x the size of the one that we had to endure to get PRB01, OP05, and EX boxes, which if you don't know what an EX box is, it was a limited edition product that was pretty much the first illustration box. So before the illustration boxes came out, there was an EX box, which it had the same design. It came with a Rob Lucci promo as well as a Juri Bonnie promo, and it came with some 4 packs in there. So it was a very rare limited product. It's blowing up right now in price, and all that stuff resulted in a line less than what we saw for OP14.
Yeah, the popularity is very, very real, and that's why we're seeing this surge in scalpers, because they know that there's this surge in demand, surge in popularity, surge in people playing the game, collecting the game, and they...
No supply. Bandai, no supply.
They just know that they can buy something and they can sell it to someone who wants it. Guys, I hope I don't have to say, like Nick said, I hope I don't have to say, do not buy boxes without the wrap on it. That is a recipe for disaster. I wouldn't even buy from a reputable seller. No chance. You would never catch me doing that. But
Now it's different if they open it there in front of you. If they're cutting the seal in front of you, your LGS, and you're just buying a box like that, that's completely okay. That's completely okay. We're talking about just straight up someone having a loose open box. It's gonna result in at some point you getting screwed. And with all the shitty people out there right now that are entering into the hobby, looking to make a quick buck on it, do not get taken advantage of. Always vet whoever you're buying from, whether it's a raw card, slab, sealed product. Make sure they're legitimate. Always vet whoever you do business with.
And then we have Logan Paul getting into the hobby. Now, that guy, there are a lot of people with a lot of opinions on Logan Paul. If you guys don't know who Logan Paul is,
you're under a rock.
He's a huge YouTuber. He used to do like Vine or TikTok. He became famous off that. Now he does WWE. He's gotten into a couple of things, perhaps scams. There's this crypto thing that he got into, and then he was fractionalizing shares of Pokemon cards that he had, and those are coming to light as possible alleged scams. I'm not going to say they're for sure scams, but allegedly. Do your own research on that. Form your own opinion. But people are really upset that he has joined the hobby. There's a video that came out from him, and you could see him sitting on 3 cases, and he called Luffy. He called him Luffy D Monkey. And people were not happy. People were comparing him to a celestial dragon and all that stuff, poking fun. Because I'm not really into Pokemon, I'll be honest. But a lot of people were comparing it to when he got into Pokemon, and people called him a parasite for going into that. Nick, you might know more about that than me. What happened when he got into Pokemon? I think that was during like the COVID stuff. But what are your thoughts on Logan Paul joining? Crazy stuff.
This is one of those times where all publicity is good publicity. That's the way we need to look at this. Would I ever trust any transaction having to do with Logan Paul? Reality is probably not. That's me personally. I never met the guy. I can't say anything negative about him. All I can do is disclose the controversies that have occurred in relation to him, and there have been several for Pokemon. Most notably have been involving his Illustrator card, which is a alleged pop 1 of 1. I know Rattle, if you have watched any of his Pokemon stuff, Rattle Pokemon, he does a lot. I think it's Rattle Pokemon, but Rattle, he's like the CoffeeZilla of Pokemon, and he's made several videos in relation to how that illustration card shouldn't have even gotten a 10. I'm not going to go into that rabbit hole, anything like that. But what I will say is there have been several controversies related to trading card games that have surrounded Logan Paul. What I will add on top of that is, we don't know if they're 100% true. We don't know the long-term ramifications of what's going to happen with that. Most notably with that Illustrator Pikachu, with him trying to sell it in that auction where people purchase percentage ownership rights of it, and apparently Logan Paul allegedly purchased those shares back at a fraction of a percentage. So he claims he has full ownership of the card. Other people are claiming he doesn't. We're not going to go into that drama at all, but let's stay focused on how this impacts one piece in particular. And I will reiterate, all publicity is good publicity, whether you like it or not, whether it's a positive or negative. The more people talk about the trading card game, the more eyes that come on top of it, the more eyes that come on top of the IP, the greater it is for the card game moving forward. So
I don't know. It feels like it's publicity for like water, bro. Like it doesn't even we don't even need it, dude. Like we can't even get the shit we need now. Like I mean, you're right. Like publicity is good publicity, and if Bandai actually does print more, it'll be good because we'll have more people, and that's good for Bandai, and I'm sure they'll do good things with the money that they make. But holy shit, we do not need more publicity. Yeah. But yeah.
At the end of the day, Logan Paul is a huge influencer with a lot of pull on social media. Of course, he has the several brands that he works for. He is a very successful man. You cannot undermine the success that this guy's had in his life,
Sure.
And rightfully so. He's made a lot of decisions with him and his brother and how they promote themselves and being able to market themselves in a way that has resulted in a huge amount of success. in terms of correlating to One Piece and the One Piece TCG, as Dom said, the game is so hype right now. It's so hot. Do we need any more publicity? Probably not, but you won't see me complain about it. Am I ecstatic that Logan Paul is getting into One Piece? I'm going to tell you right now, I could care less personally. I will say that I would be very cautious if there is any announcement of some business model in relation to One Piece. Whatever you decide, whatever you decide to do, that is completely up to you. I'm not going to delegate what you should or should not do, but I would say I would be very cautious, and I'd do your own research into his elaborate history for Pokemon if there is any business model that is created in relation to One Piece. So.
I agree. Okay, let's talk about something good. Let's talk about something good and cool that I actually think is pretty exciting. And this is just another thing that is going towards the popularity of One Piece. Now One Piece is partnering with Red Bull. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So there is going to be a new format specifically special to this collaboration they're doing with Red Bull. It's like a Red Bull Double Dawn event. I'll put the graphic here and you guys can see it. From what I can see, there isn't specific rules, but what we do see is there's a Dawn card, and it's worth 2,000 instead of 1,000. Now, we don't know if a Dawn you're going to be able to play something that costs 4 for 2 Dawn instead of for 4 Dawn, or this is just going to give you plus 2,000 power. I won't get too into that, just for the people who don't play the game. We'll find out the rules. What's cool is there's this promo card, and it's just a Dawn card with a Red Bull can on it, which is, it's pretty cool. It's nothing crazy, but I just think it's a fun event. I'm sure there's also going to be like special prizing, and I would die of laughter if there was like a Luffy card with like a Red Bull can or something. And dude, there's no way they do that, dude. I kind of hope they don't do that, because it's just like, that's so weird. But also, there's been like Pikachu cards with like McDonald's logos on it, right? Like, so yes. So we've seen that before. I won't be surprised. But we'll see. We'll see. I just think it's fun. I think it's fun, and it's another thing that's just increasing that popularity of the game, man. And it's a cool format. I'm excited to see what they do. I honestly have never seen something like this, so it's pretty cool. We'll see. It's like a championship thing. It's happening in like March. There's like qualifiers and all that stuff. As we know more details, we can share them if you guys are interested in that. On the rules and how to qualify and what you're supposed to do. We'll say something in a episode when we learn more information. But Red Bull, Nick, what do you think, man?
You and I discussed at the beginning of the year, actually the end of last year, our predictions for what we thought was going to be the outcome for the trading card game for this year. One thing we did highlight was the collaborations moving forward. The one thing that was not in my bingo card was a Red Bull collab with the One Piece trading card game, but I have to give Bandai their flowers and their marketing team. They are doing such a great job of getting these collaborations for the card game in particular. That is super great. Any sort of brand collaboration like this is always cool for the popularity of the game. I know we just talked about how the game really doesn't need any more popularity, but it's always cool to see these unique and rare promo cards being created. Of course, we don't know the extent of the promo cards that are going to come from this. All we know is that there will be a Red Bull Dawn. We don't know how rare the Red Bull Dawn is going to be. That's to be seen. Will there likely be some collectability there? I think so. Regardless if they print 1 million of these or not, how cool is it to be able to have a Red Bull One Piece TCG Dawn? I think that's super, super cool personally. Yeah. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. But Bandai's marketing team for the card game is doing fantastic. Meanwhile, their production manufacturing team,
shit up, dude. God.
They ain't doing enough there. That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, running an operation like this is very complicated. It's not black and white. There's a lot of nuances and relationships that go into this. Rudy from Alpha Investments did say that these waves and reprints and stuff, they're on a year schedule. They're on a year calendar with the manufacturers, but that there is a possibility where they can request some additional print to be done when the set is being printed. And all I'm going to say is, Bandai, You gotta make that call, bud. Whoever is working, whoever's
the
the manager of the manufacturing department of the card game, you need to put a phone call in about 3 weeks ago saying, guys, we need to ramp it up about 20-25%. I digress. I'm not gonna mull over this too much, but great job to the Bandai marketing team for the card game.
They're doing phenomenal. Seriously, like I gotta give props to whoever is making these decisions. Like it just feels like every decision that's ever been made for One Piece has been so calculated, and they've always had quality in mind.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood. But just the quality of the cards, to how serious they take the competitive format with prizing, all these crazy chase cards, the marketing events, the collaborations. Like Bandai is doing an exceptional job, and I have to give them their flowers with everything they're doing there. Now that all of that has been wildly successful. Time to ramp it up, but I won't get too much into that. Okay, but what do you guys think about the Red Bull event? Are you guys gonna try to qualify for that? Let us know down in the comment section below. All right, let's go on to our usual notable market movers here. We have about 6 or 7 cards that we're talking about today. First is we're seeing the Dallas promo card. So the Luffy card and the Zoro card. It also came with the Utadon. I haven't been looking at that though. So the Dallas Zoro card, this was selling PSA 10 just a couple weeks ago for $300. Now we're seeing it at $850. So that's a pretty crazy price increase, but these promo cards are actually super rare. I mean, there's like pop of like 500 or something PSA 10, which is pretty freaking crazy, I'll be honest. And these are really cool promo cards. These aren't nothing to scoff at. Like the Luffy promo card is going for like $2,000 PSA 10. Like I said, this is from One Piece Day Dallas. These are extremely limited. I think it was about time that these cards started to see some pretty big moves. So I'm not surprised by it. They're really, really cool cards. So if you guys have this Dallas Zoro card, even if you have the Dallas Monkey D. Luffy card, I mean, you're eating pretty good. Dodgers Luffy too. Dodgers Luffy, PSA 10.
About time, baby. Run it back.
About time. So I mean, we've talked about this.
I'm not. It's
so many episodes.
It's every episode at this point we mention this card, but who's keeping track at home?
Yeah, we were talking about this during the World Series, and it was going for like 22 or something, and. Honestly, I expected this to go higher after they won, but instead it nuked. I guess it was just a, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, and then went down to like 1,400. And I was pretty shocked. I'll be honest, I was pretty shocked by that. But now we're back, and we're actually higher. We're actually high. So we're back to all-time high on the Dodgers Luffy. I'm seeing sales at 2,300. I saw a sale for 2,500. So if you have one of those, huge congratulations. You didn't paper hand that. And if you bought one at 1,400, that's big brain.
Great job.
That's big brain. That's big brain of you. And then, okay, you might have an opinion on this one. Something I wanted to call out is we have a Ryuma single that has been bought out, and I want to just call out, this is very similar to the Gengar Nami card. There's no reason this card should be like $70. I think it was like a few dollars, and then it got bought out. This card is definitely being manipulated right now. Do not fall for any crazy FOMO or manipulation. That card does not deserve to be $70 from like $3 overnight. It just doesn't. There's probably a huge buyout happening, probably huge manipulation happening for that card. You guys just have to be cautious of these different cards. There is market manipulation happening. There is absolutely, these things are happening, and you just need to be mindful, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. Just to let you guys know, you guys probably shouldn't buy that, but if you guys think the card is cool and you don't want to risk it and you want to grab it, that's your prerogative. I wouldn't do it myself, but what are your thoughts on that card?
For now on, what I'm going to say for the people at home that they can do themselves is to utilize the Bud's order of operations. Let's look at this Ryuma card.
That's the boo.
Is Ryuma a popular character?
No.
You haven't even seen him since Thriller Bark, man. Good luck. He got discussed maybe 3 times in Wano. No spoiler. So you have Ryuma, not a popular character. Is it a promo card? Is it an SP, or is it manga?
Is it a promo card? It came from the premium card collection. Do you consider that a promo
Sure.
card? I guess it was.
I will give the card its flowers and say that it was a promo card. So you checked off that it's a promo card of a not popular character that has gone up like 400%, 500%, even more than that, randomly out of nowhere. Should you buy the card? Is the card going to have long-term retained value? The answer is
Yeah, probably not.
probably not. Now, again,
That's our opinion, by the way.
that is our opinion, as Dom mentioned. If you are a huge Ryuma collector out there, more power to you. He's a super cool character.
Are you out there?
Maybe
Is there
there's someone
any-
out there. Ryuma's a super cool character. I'm not going to say he's not. He's got an excellent backstory that we're still kind of unfolding at this point. But let's just take a step back. Let's not give it any emotional.
Call Buck a buck.
Let's not give it any emotional reactions. if you are a Ryuma collector, you want every Ryuma card, this one probably going to have an opportunity at some point in the future to be able to pick up this guy for a much more affordable price because it didn't follow the Bud's order of operations. Meanwhile, on the flip side, let's look at the Zoro promo.
Yeah.
For the One Piece Day Dallas, right? So One Piece Day Dallas, I can't remember the name of it, but the
Yeah,
Dallas
One Piece
promo.
Day Dallas, yeah.
One Piece Day Dallas promo. Okay. Is it a popular character? Bing, 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 bing. Zoro! If anybody paid attention to, which we've had several people write this in the comments, there was a popularity poll that was taken of the One Piece characters. Number 1, of course, is Luffy. Yep. Number 2, to the surprise of no one, was Zoro. So you have the second most popular character. Mm-hmm. Is it an SP, manga, or a promo card? Bing, 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 bing. We'll even take it one step further. So it was a promo card of a popular character. Is it a limited edition promo card? Mm-hmm. Ding, 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 ding. Only available during that event in particular, which even for back then, there was some huge problems with this card, with these 3 cards in particular, because there was very scarce. I mean, there weren't many available. There were some people who left there without getting these 3 cards. So there were already some problems even going back then because of the popularity of these 3 cards. Of course, the pricing wasn't anywhere close to where it is now, but there was some difficulty to get this promo card. So you have a popular character and a limited edition promo card. What is that going to result in? Likely going to have good retained value over time, which is what we're seeing right now. So, again, guys, if you're ever picking anything up on your own or trying to gauge where you think a card is going, follow the Bud's order of operation.
I was on the spot
for
man.
Analyzing some of these cards out there.
It just seems like the premium card collection promos are really susceptible to being manipulated. Maybe it's just because there's a decent amount of them and someone's able to buy out like 200 and then now that they have a supply they can manipulate it. I have no clue. I have no idea. But it just seems that these premium card collection ones are susceptible.
To be clear, it has been proven from the Pokemon community that there are indeed secret Illuminati type groups of individuals who buy out cards. It has been proven. This is not some conspiracy theory or like some aluminum foil hat theory.
Oh yeah, it's happening.
This is actually a real thing that happens, and of course, with people from the Pokemon community shifting over into One Piece, it would not surprise me that some of these people out there with malicious intent purchasing some cards are coming over to One Piece as well.
Yeah. We definitely got some questionable people in the hobby right now. We are definitely not saying we don't. Okay, Zoro manga. Last week I said it hit 4,000. Now we're at 5,200.
Boo.
I mean,
Dom, break down the boo for us here. Run the boo for us here.
the Bud's order of operation, man.
We're gonna need to trademark that one, man.
Popular-
B.O.O. That should be the T-shirt. I like that actually. It's good. Let us know down in the comments if you guys would buy a Boo T-shirt with it showing the process for breaking down whether or not you should buy a card.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, okay. Popular character. It's a manga card. Limited quantity. Of course, this card is going to go up. I mean, I've always thought this card was undervalued. I'll be honest. Like, just compared to other manga cards. And like Nick said, this is the second most popular character in the series. My favorite character of all time. If you guys watch One Piece, if you guys ever watch One Piece, read the manga, you guys will know. You guys will know what I'm talking about. So I, not shocked. Not shocked at all. Still undervalued. Still undervalued. I don't care. You can call me a Zoro simp, but yeah, I still think this is undervalued. And then I just want to talk about a single booster box real quick, just because I think it's an event. We have OPO5 reaching past $1,000. Pretty freaking crazy, man. I mean,
well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, this is a set that Okay, this is freaking years ago at this point. I don't care if this box is going up. The people who need the cards from this set likely already have the cards from this set. So it's cool to see OPO5 reach this kind of milestone of hitting $1,000. That's my favorite set. I think it is the Grail set. 2 of the biggest Grails in the series. Amazing. I'm not surprised. And I think we're just going to continue to see great things out of OPO5. So, pretty cool stuff. This is a card you have, Nick. Top 8 Sanji. So, Nick bought this card when we vended for the first time. And he got the top 8 Sanji. I believe you said, what, 900?
950, yes.
Yeah. So, he got a PSA 10 top 8 Sanji card. Really, really, really cool card. Selling for $4,200. Nick, how you feeling, man?
Feeling 26 on 26 mil, man. Okay, jokes aside. I wanted to add this one to the list of market movers because it's honing in on something that we're starting to see. Something that I always viewed as being much more niche, and I still think is a little niche, but you are seeing a lot of these rare championship, regional, high placement cards start to go up more over time. I thought that there would be a little bit of a delay on it just because I think collecting these cards in particular is very niche, and I think there's a certain audience out there who wants this stuff. But, again, at the end of the day, I think this card is sitting at a PSA 10 Pop 60. Pop 60. There's not many of these out there. That's the reality of it. Yeah, very, very low pop count card. Yeah. Could it go up a little bit more? Yes, these were given throughout the entire year. So the way it worked is that if you place top 8 for any of the regionals, I think you could get the Sanji. So theoretically, there could be, I'm spitballing maybe 100 that could be out there. Are all of them going to get PSA 10? Probably not if you follow the 80% grade percentages that we typically see on any card for PSAs. But you're starting to see these championship cards go up, which I think is a really good indicator that we have some genuine collectors out there. Yeah. And anybody who has some of these championship or regional cards out there, I think when you look again at the Boo, Sanji, a very popular character, and you have a very rare promo card, it's going to result in a lot of retained value long term. So if you did pick up some of these championship cards or winners cards a year ago when they were more affordable than they are now, congratulations, you made a great call. If you're looking to grab some of these, again, I'm not going to say act emotionally, grab your credit card out and buy it immediately right now. But what I will say is you're starting to see some of these getting purchased for some high amounts of money. If it does tickle your fancy, you can't afford it, and it's not going to bankrupt you or make you feel terrible afterwards, you might want to look sooner than later to grab some of these. And I'm not saying that because I own this Sanji in particular. I'm keeping in mind for the long term. Dom mentioned to me when I did pick it up that it's important to have some diversity in your collection, and it is my only regional card or top placement card that I have in my collection, so no desire to move it out. I'm just saying this because I think it touches on a bigger thing going on in the market, which is the increased value of these really, really rare tournament cards.
What's great, I actually I didn't put this on my list because I don't want to only say cards that I have because I'm fearful of what that looks like. But I do have the Treasure Cup Zoro card right here. I bought that for $400 Christmas Day. Was it 2024? Yeah, 2024 Christmas Day, and I bought that for like $400. And I remember thinking, damn, this is pretty cheap. Like I'm pretty surprised that what price it's at, and the pop is like $150 or something like that. I looked the other day. I actually did not know the card was at this price, but I looked the other day. There was a sale for like $2,200, and I looked yesterday, sale for like $2,500. So I just wanted to reinforce what you're saying, that we're seeing these prize cards for these popular characters start to get bought out. And honestly, we're in the vintage era of One Piece. So like these early day cards for these popular characters, no brainer for me, especially the prize cards. And this is not just my Zoro card or his Sanji card. This is really like Luffy one, Zoro, Hancock, Nami, Sanji, everyone, all the popular characters. If you're getting prize cards, I think it's probably pretty good because we're in the early days of One Piece. So, yeah, I think they'll stand the test of time. Pretty cool stuff. And then the last one I wanted to bring up is the Kuma SEC. Just for the people who are probably thinking to themselves, why is this card sitting at $70 right now? if you're a collector, do not buy this card. Do not buy this card. This card is for the players. It's probably the best yellow card right now, and it's being played in the best deck and format. A lot of the really, really good yellow decks, if not all the really good yellow decks, need 4 of these. So that's why we're seeing a huge price surge for this specific secret rare card. And I want to reiterate, if you're a collector and not playing the game, I would urge you not to buy this card. I would let the players have this one. Who the hell collects Kuma cards anyway? I mean, Kuma does have a really sad backstory. I won't get into it. No spoilers. But yeah. $70, just in case you were wondering why this card was at $70. Okay. All right, guys, we're moving on to the Q&A segment of the video. If you guys don't know, you guys can leave your own questions down in the comment section down below, and we might answer yours in the next video. Our first question comes in from Felix Parkour. Hello, I'm 15 years old, and I'm looking into collecting One Piece mostly for fun, but also a little bit to have a valuable collection. So I just wanted to ask you where I should start. My idea was just buying some of my favorite characters and some PSA slabs off of eBay, and then trying to find some cheap booster boxes. The cheapest booster box that I found was an OP-08 Japanese box off of Card Market that cost around 50 euros, about 58 US dollars. I don't know if I can find it cheaper here in EU, but yeah, what would some of your tips be if I still want to have fun opening packs and still not spend too much money? Felix, welcome to the hobby. You're starting out young, my guy, but really good question. I mean, man, starting out in this market is tough. I just want to, especially if you're not looking to spend too much money, which I don't know your situation, but I'm sure you don't have too much money unless you have a job or something. That would be crazy if you have a job at 15. But
more respect to you. I met a 15-year-old who had a 401k. I couldn't believe it.
What the fuck?
I couldn't believe it. The kids nowadays, they differ.
Yeah, kids are actually crazy nowadays. They're awesome. But to start out your collecting journey, if you don't care about like the names or like the English versus Japanese versions, then I 100% in this market right now, I think collecting the characters that you like in Japanese, I think is great. If you're looking to retain value, gotta go back to Boo. Is it a popular character? Then you'll probably be fine, to be honest. So that's Zoro, Boa, Nami, Luffy, Sanji. I'm probably missing a couple. I think Chopper's honestly getting up there for me, to be honest. So I think collecting those characters in Japanese is a great sign. I think it's great. If you want to pick up OP-08 Japanese box for $58, I think any of the early sets are probably going to be fine. OP-08 is my second worst set behind OP-10. Trash. Absolute trash. But I honestly think OP-08 is underrated. So, I mean, depends on the amount of money you have. I'm sure Nick will say this is a you decision, but I would just collect the characters that you like in Japanese. And if you want them to retain value, you got to go after the popular characters. And if you want to get sealed, then I think the OP-08 is probably fine because it is going to be considered an early set, and I'm sure that it will retain some value over time. So I think your head is already in the right place, and especially at 15 years old, like I gotta give you credit. When I was 15 years old, I was shitting my pants. So I can't even believe how smart and articulate you already are. So congratulations. Thanks for watching, by the way. And Nick, do you have any advice for our guy?
Well, first off, Felix, I want to say thanks so much for your question. We really do appreciate it, and we appreciate the opportunity to be able to elaborate on something that we actually have been asked several times from younger people saying the market is too expensive. What can I do? And this is a really important thing, guys, because at the end of the day, the future generations are what create the longevity of a card game. The people out there, the kids out there who are under 10 or in the age range like Felix is between 10 to 20, those people having a great experience is what creates that nostalgia and that success of the card game in the long term. So that is why it is so important that these people get access to product in this time when product is very, very scarce. So as soon as I saw this comment from Felix, I immediately sent it to Dom and said we have to respond to this. Okay, so you're asking a lot of different questions here that I feel like most of them have been previously answered in the Beginner's Guide series that I created, which we'll plug here. We always plug at the end of the videos, but it pretty much breaks down what Dom and I believe you should know just getting into the hobby, which will really help you in the long-term and success of your collecting journey? These are questions that we wish we had answers to that were not available on the internet. So we said, okay, we learned this over the last year and a half. Let's go ahead and create a series where we can teach people the information that we wish we knew. So a lot of these questions that you have in here are going to be answered in there. So let's break it down one by one. So you started by saying that you're unsure if you should start collecting singles, slabs, or that's what you're currently doing right now. You want to get popular characters, but you're unsure what you should be collecting in general. Dom already mentioned Boo. Of course, Dom knows me too well. At the end of the day,
This is a you question.
this is a you question, Felix. What brings you happiness in your collecting journey? You said that you want to be able to open up some product. Japanese is a really good option for being able to do so, but I will put an asterisk there. The hit rates for Japanese boxes are very, very tough. You get typically one hit per box, and there are boxes of Japanese where you get one SEC, not even an alt art, and that's your only hit, and you're looking at like $2 to $3 card. If that is something that tickles your fancy and you're just looking to be able to open up affordable product, of course, then I will never tell you not to do that. But if you're looking for something that's going to give you more long-term retained value for your collection, I will say at 15, I understand, definitely difficult. You're likely in school. I'm unsure how the school system is by you, if you're in some sort of program now to be working in a trade, or if you're in high school like we would be in the States over here. But I will definitely urge you to start going to your local game store and start making connections with the community there. I'm unsure of how big the European community is. All I know is that the States are constantly importing in boxes from Europe. So that tells me that the card game may not be that popular over there. Again, I can't tell you. I have no first-hand experience. I have seen some streams from the European regionals, and it definitely looks busy, so I can't say that that's the case. But given how much product that I know is being imported from Europe, I think there may be a possibility out there to get some more affordable boxes than you would be able to. Card Market is a great resource for you over there. So pretty much, Dom, if you didn't know, Card Market is the TCG player of Europe. So definitely want to be tracking a lot of that stuff to be able to get more affordable stuff. But I highly urge you to get out to your local game store, your local community, and I also would recommend that you start playing the game. I'm unsure how your busy schedule is. Being a teenager at that point in your life, things often come as priorities versus playing a card game, but even if it's just playing the sim, throwing up a deck in there, just learning how the game operates, if you can play one time a week, you're going to be able to make connections with not only the game store, but your local community, that you're going to be able to get access to some of these cards that you think are cool to collect that you wouldn't find elsewhere, either online or through another means. So highly recommend you get out there to your local game store. Moving on to the second part of that, being the opening and collectability of sealed product. Again, MSRP should always be what you're shooting for. I highly recommend that whenever you can, if you can go to Target, I'm not sure how the Target situation works in Europe, but find out the places that have product available for MSRP and try to get some of that for MSRP. If you want to get sealed product in your collection, again, this is a you question. Do you want to collect sealed product? Do you want to open your sealed product? Do you just want to collect slabs? Do you just want to collect your cards of popular characters? I see people collecting SRs nowadays. Like, people generally just like collecting cards of their characters, and there's a lot of SRs with cool art. So I will not tell you to not do that. But what I will say is that's something you're going to have to figure out is, do you want to collect your sealed product? Because if you do, you're going to have a problem with wanting to also open up your product. So again, you're going to have to figure that out in terms of if you are able to get some product at MSRP. Do you want to open that booster box? Do you not want to open that booster box? You want to keep it sealed for the future? That is a you question that you're going to have to figure out. But no matter what, at the end of the day, welcome to the hobby. Always, 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 guys, collect what you like. That is the most important thing. Whether it's an SR, we always will promote you guys doing what makes you happy in the day, because it's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. If you're looking for some more affordable promo cards out there, which promo cards are going to be your best bet if you're looking to pick up some stuff that's affordable of your character, of popular characters. Dom and I actually made a video a couple weeks ago showing sleeper picks that we had for some cards out there. My entire selection, except for one, was a promo card. So there are plenty of promotional cards out there that are still readily available and affordable. And I would promote that you go out there and do your own research and look at all the great cards in the market and see if you want to pick up a couple for your personal collection. But again, thanks so much for your question, and welcome to the hobby.
Felix, by the way, if you did get to the end of us answering your question, we would love to send you some of your first cards for characters that you like. Get your parents' approval. Reach out to us on Instagram or in our Discord. Make sure, please, you get your parents' approval first because we will need some address to send the cards to. But we would love to start your collecting journey. Thank you so much for the question. Then this is from us to you. Like I said, please get your parents' approval though first, and then reach out to us, and then we can send you some stuff. Thank you so much again, Felix. Appreciate you. Okay, this last question is coming in from the Spook Dogs, and he says, also, what about that China Joy Zorro promo card? Very sick. I agree. I mean, I full transparency alert. I've bought like 7 of these things. So I own some. Nick owns some. We have some getting graded at PSA right now, actually. I think this card art is unbelievable. I'm a huge fan of promo cards in different languages if it's exclusive to that language. So exclusive China promos, exclusive Japanese promos, the French treasure rares that are exclusive to that. Huge fan of those. So I'm a huge fan of this card. I mean, I got lucky. I was able to get these at like $25, and now they're selling on eBay for like $70, and we're seeing PSA 10 sell for like $300. So I feel pretty fortunate to grab those cards at the price that I did, but I still think they're undervalued, especially if they do not do this art in a different language. Now, you never know. I feel like you never know if they're going to use that for something else, so I can't say for sure. If they did print this on an English card, then I would unfortunately say that this probably goes down in price, but I think as long as it's an exclusive promo card to Chinese, I think this is an amazing card. I think it's an amazing card. I think the art is amazing, and I think it has a lot of room to go up personally. So, Nick, I'm not sure if you have any additional thoughts, but if you don't, totally can.
Sometimes you need to let the Zorro expert just talk about Zorro. So I have nothing to
add. So yeah, well, I mean, if you use Boo, man, it's Zorro exclusive promo, all that jazz. So, thank you so much, Spook Dogs, for the question. Okay, guys, well, that is the end of our Q&A. Just a reminder, if you guys have your own questions, you guys can leave them down in the comment section down below, and we might answer yours in the next episode. We are at the end, though, of this episode.
Busy.
We had a lot of topics from Logan Paul to OP14, our predictions to EB-03. Are we doomed?
Damn Red Bull Don card.
Red Bull, holy moly, a lot of stuff going on in the One Piece TCG world. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. If you guys aren't, I'm sure things will get better eventually. Don't you worry. Nick, anything to end us off on?
As always, guys. Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your busy lives on this rock floating in the middle of the endless void to be here with us, the Buds, as we talk about something we all love, the One Piece trading card game. As I always end these videos with nowadays, guys, I only have 17 seconds, so I need to plug them in now. We're going to leave up 2 playlists. One is going to be towards the Beginner Guide series, where we're going to show you guys everything you need to know about collecting the One Piece trading card game. And the other one is going to be a playlist to all the previous Buds watches that we've ever done before. But again, thanks so much for watching.
Catch y'all
on the next one.
Peace!